Good afternoon, everyone. Today is the 3rd of March, 2017. Didn't get to trade today. I was actually at a clinic earlier this morning just because my cough is just so bad to where I'm having a muscle spasm in my chest just because I've been coughing so much. So I finally went to the doctor and they gave me another medication, another antibiotic. So anyhow, so I'm really here to answer a question, and that question is from this viewer here, saying, "Nice trade. What's the small window you pull out of the contract traded at that price? How do you get it? And how to see if it's just covering back position or otherwise? And how do you mark those levels?" So this kind of bleeds through my trade setup in the morning, and really just my kind of my morning routine overall. So I guess I'm gonna title this video my trade setup and my morning routine. So first of all, in the morning, as soon as I wake up, trade wise, first thing I look at is the daily. Where we are in price, and what's the current price. So on the daily. So like I said, I don't know. I always preach about simplicity. So I just look at a daily chart here. So this is what the daily chart right now. And if it's red, I'm looking for opportunity to short, and if it's green, I'm looking for opportunity to go long. I mean, that's the trend, right? I mean, if it's green, you go long. If it's red, you go short. But yesterday, well, you're probably thinking, well, wait a minute. You traded long yesterday, and when it was short, right? Or you traded long when it was red. So there's other caveat to all of that. So, anyways, when I trend trade, I need to make sure, first is that, which levels that things might turn in price. So basically you're gonna get a reversal throughout the day. So I just need to make sure that I'm not, if I'm going to trend trade, that I'm not playing those levels, because otherwise, there's a likelihood of you getting stopped out, like what happened on my first trade yesterday. So that's what you saw on my first trade. So that's let's see. Let me try to pull that video. So yesterday, this is what you saw. Today is the 2nd of March. Let's see. Let me try to just speed up the 17. Bias this morning is down. Yeah, down, as you can see. So yeah, you see my bias for that day is down, right? So I guess my tactical approach is to figure out. See, once it falls off over here, it's gonna be free territory right here until you get to 46, 47, that level. So and I think it's driving the price moving to the downside now. So anyhow, so my initial bias for that for yesterday was down to begin with, and suddenly I changed my mind and I went long, right? And really, price is what dictated that. So anyways, not to move fast here. So my first thing is, I have to have a bias for today. So are you gonna go long? Or are you gonna go short? What are you gonna do? So and what how I can manage simplicity, and how I can make things simple, is that I just look at the daily chart. So now from the daily chart, I break it down to a much smaller time frame. So let's see. Let me size this down here so you can get a full view of what I'm looking at. So now from the daily chart, I break it down from a lower time frame. So mainly my next thing is a 4-hour chart. So pull a 4-hour chart, depending on where it is. Then I'm looking for, what I have my eyes on is supply demand type levels. I don't know if you familiar with that concept, but so I look at, supply demand, support resistance kind of thing, and you'll see all these, lines that I have for my support, my resistance, and basically those are the levels that I'm willing to participate in. So now how I got really good in identifying levels is that, my screen time, I've spent, you know like I said, I've been trading this since trading CL for a little over a year now, I guess. I started in September 2015. So yeah, so it's quite some time now. And all that experience I just gained by simply sitting here and trying to analyze price all the time, and that kind of cultivated into a trading style, and also and it also became my process, and also it's just kind of my bread and butter on how do I trade things. So basically I just I trade two signals, the trending one and then the counter trend. So when do you counter trend, and when you trade, or when do you counter trend, and when to trend trading? It really depends on the trading, the condition of the market. When I get in here, I try to figure out, well, where's the market going to take the price, kind of deal. So as my pre-preparation for the morning, you'll see me mark levels. You'll see me, mainly, yeah, a bunch of lines. You'll see a whole bunch of this, and I think that's what you saw in the video. I've already have this pre-marked as a level, as a price that I want to participate in. So what you saw on the video yesterday is that I think, let me try to fast forward here.
Interested in real estate investing? Looking to buy homes for taxes owed or get 18 to 30?
Okay, so I just had to find that marker. So as you see here, I was shorting this entry right here, thinking there's going to be another leg down, right? But I quickly realized that the tape was moving so quickly, and actually I'm going to put this one side by side because you'll see me pull the tape. And so as you can see, this one right now is moving kind of like a turtle. It's not even moving any at all, versus to the one that I'm fixing to play right now. So I'm not gonna say anything, and then let's just watch through the video, and hopefully I can explain a little bit more, since I'm not really trading right now. So here it is. First my trade. So see what happens. Okay, I'll be back. Actually, my reverse now, so I might take a reverse over here. So as you can see, I think I'm, this is where I realized I think I'm wrong. So I was like, well, let's just get out. Let's just get out of harm's way, just because at this time. So at this time right here, the tape is going really, really fast, compared to this one right here, and yet, the price stayed at a very tight range. So that's a very good example that a reversal might take place soon. So if this is strong enough, I think it'll push this price a lot higher, maybe to that way through the level. So as you can see, that one just got jumped, and these guys aren't moving. I mean, so I wonder if this is the level. And I did mention that I was watching this at one point, so we'll see how fast it'll. I mean, if this thing is true selling, because there's not really on the daily, there's not really much support. It's like free fall right there. This is one of those days you don't catch the falling knife. So, and now it's trading lower. So I'm hoping he does a now stair step, I guess. Yep, yeah, I got slammed down, didn't come back. Our trade might get riskier. Okay, well, I guess I'll try not to move it. This thing bounced back 75. I'm just gonna manually get out. All right, I'll pause the video. I'll come back. Okay, guys, I just went in and put it to break even. This thing's not. It's doing its push, but it's like not really. It's not doing what I'm expecting it to do. I was hoping to slide like big candles like these. As you can see, it's like small, and then if I'll just put the tape right here. So if you watch this tape, you see how fast it's going, and so you see the tape is moving really fast compared to what's happening right now. So that's when every time you hear me say, "Oh, the tape is moving really fast," yet the price is going nowhere. So that's exactly what I meant. It's just it's compressing at such a rate that normally if it's really true selling, you'll see it'll put out huge bars, huge range bars. So and when you're trying to trade directional trading, which I was doing at that entry, what you want to see is completely sliding down like this, right? And that's not what's happening. It's actually trading in a very tight range, and as you can see, you can read this tape right here. That's why I have this tape set to it's just a filter. I just want to see all the contracts that getting executed that is above or equal to 100. I think is what this setting is. So we can go back to that, but yeah, you can just pull time and sales, and and you could set the filter to have a greater or equal to 100 is what I have it set to, and that's what's going to give you, it'll only print. It's, for this one, it's set to print all the time, so you'll see, single contracts getting executed at, all this, at 1246. What is that? Sorry, let me pull this. Yeah, so 1239.26. You got all these contracts that got just executed, but they're single trades. You see, so that means that one person wants this price at one contract, the others at three. So you have separate trades that are getting executed, and suddenly you got a 20 there, a 2 there, and then so so a big institution, if they want to show their trades, they're gonna show you big large number, so which is like 100, 240 at a time, so so that's the concept. That's the concept of why I set the time and sales above 100, because I want to see who the participants are at a particular price level. So so anyways, I'll go into detail as to why that's important to me. But if you could see here, you saw how fast the tape was moving, and it's very narrow range. So that's why I was quick to get out. And now at this point, I'm really looking to go long. And at the time, the low was 67. So I was like, well, I got 3 or 4 ticks at risk. Then why not just buy here? If it's true, if I'm wrong, I'm only gonna lose 4 ticks. But if I'm right, then you saw it yesterday. This thing, skyrocketed to, like, I believe, what is that, 50, 53.15, something like that. I think it put out a high of 53.15, if I'm not mistaken. So let's see. Actually, we can just, why not go back to here? So the high of this one is what is that? Oh, not even on the right candle here. 53.16. So that was the high. So you can see, I that's that, and that was the bottom. That was yesterday's bottom. Well, not really. In the afternoon, we put out lower, but okay, where am I? So let's see here. Yeah, the bottom was like 54, I think. Yeah, 54 was the low yesterday, right? But the time that I'm trading, that was actually the bottom, and I was able to get it. And sure enough, actually, 54, I was 6 ticks away from the actual low, and then now this thing is, rallied from that price. So as you can see, I mean, it went up to 53.30 today, and 52.60 was supported. So my eyes, what I'm trying to tell you is that my eyes is just, I'm training my eyes to identify the big elephant in the room, right? So they do put out hints on where they're buying and selling. So so my job is to really identify where that price locations, are located. So here, as you can see, and how I found this, by the way, this is what I'm going to go through next. But this levels I already pre-marked, beforehand, because my speculations are these 3 prices, 4 prices right here, and then now I'm trying to get a clue on if that price is my thesis, my bias is actually going to be supported throughout the day. If that makes any sense. So at this instance, I'm right, and you saw me, I put out a short first thinking it's going to be short, but I'm quick to change my mind as soon as I see that there's a potential push in price. And really what gave me the hint is all the prints that was taking place. You have, when I say print, that's the time and sales. So when you see print, triggering, you got 100, 200 contracts getting executed at these range, this box that I have in here. You get 200 contracts, 300 contracts getting executed. Then that's short covering, and when shorts, a large amount is getting covered, then there is a potential lift in price. So that's what caused this to lift up, because as you can see, if you're a large institution, you're just not going to dump all 2,000 contracts at some level. So you have to average in, right? So my example of market making would be, let's just say, oh, and this is how I think, this is how I try to identify prices, so let's just say, I don't know, let's just say you're a big hedge fund guy, and then all your hedge fund does is trade oil all day, right? So you call your broker saying, hey, I wanna buy I wanna buy 10,000 contracts, or however many X amount of contracts, more than one. I want to buy 2,000 contracts of the March contract at 52.60, right? So now, if you're a broker, and then you're looking at your chart and you're going, well, the current price right now is $55. It's going to take us a couple of days to execute your trade, and of course, if you're a hedge fund, you go, well, just do what it takes, right? If you want my commission, then just do what it takes, right? So if I'm a market maker and I'm your broker, I'm looking at it going, well, it's $55 right now. um, you know, then we need to start selling the scrap, right? So, because if you start selling, then other participants are looking at you, going, okay, this market maker is dumping their contract. Something is up, right? It will cost other people, and certainly if you start, hitting lift, hitting bids um, aggressively at market, then people are gonna, or other participants are gonna go, well, something is up, because you have a huge broker start selling their stuff. Something is up, right? So you're gonna cause a widespread panic for somebody to start joining you, and it wouldn't take very long for somebody to start selling as well, right? So those are people who are selling. That, let's just say 2,000 is the number that you're trying to fill. So let's just say, you know what, I'm gonna play both sides of the market here, because hence you're the market maker, right? So if you're a market maker going, well, I'm gonna play both sides. I'm gonna short it, and then I'm gonna cover. I know I have a buyer. I can get rid of my 2,000 of my position, because I have a buyer that's willing to buy it at 52.60, or I don't know, 52.70. Let's just say that. I have 2,000 shares to fill at 52.70. So I know that. So I'm gonna trade, I don't know, 3,000 shares, and I'm just gonna use the other amount to kind of put a wide range enough, so I can average in such a way that I come out average at, I'll give him a better price. He'll be 52.67, and I'll cover around those area. So because I know I can cover my position, I can sell it at that price, right? Because he's got a client that's wanting to buy at 52.67 or 70, for example. Just an example, right? So you'll just average within these two range, and so while you're dumping your position out, you're playing the other side as well, and you're trying to cover it and trying to buy at the same time, because now you have the market maker has you selling to you're selling your position, you're covering your position. So if you're covering your position and you're selling at this price, then it's obvious that you'll find support at this level, because if somebody now aggressively lifting offers at this level, then your thesis is correct. So at this point, I know that my thesis is correct, and you saw that on my first trade, that I knew I was wrong. So I quickly got out and I reversed my trade, but I was looking for a better opportunity to get in, right? So, and then I think you heard me say on the very beginning that, oh, hey, I only have 3 cents of risk here, let's get in right now, right? And then sure enough, I didn't know this, but I mean, I was expecting a pop in this, a short covering. I just didn't expect that it only gonna take this bar right here to get my target filled. Okay, so anyway, so at this point, you probably have market makers showing their position and just getting out at market, and that's what caused this pop right here. So how do I know that? I mean, to be honest, I don't know it. I just I'm looking for hints, I'm looking for clues, as a retail trader. That's what you're really looking for, trying to identify the elephant in the room and how they're getting in and out of their position. So I got lucky on the second time. On my second trade, well, actually my third trade, my second one was a scratch because I overmanaged it and I got stopped out, and I quickly got in at 78. I think I'm pretty sure it was this bar right here and then I was able to take advantage of this move right here, right? So anyhow, so I was looking at these levels right here. So I was like, look, okay, well, I'm short covering. Sure enough, I got hit, and that's how I was able to win yesterday's trade. Now, back to your question, is how I found these levels right here. So going back to my morning preparation and my trade setup, what I do is, before I even hit the recorder, the video recorder, I'd go ahead and start, kind of going through my charts. So like I said, I start with the daily, try to figure out my bias for the day, and then at that point, now I'm starting asking myself, well, are there any levels, supply demand levels, right? So this is just a 1 minute chart. So let me just bring in like a 4 hour chart. So basically here I'm already looking for any levels for a turn-in price. So what I mean by turn-in price is that a reversal might take place, a possibility of a reversal. So if I see a level like something like this that's near, then obviously, if the price is already at 52.96, then my risk reward would be poor, and it's obvious that I won't trade there, for a short. I'd rather just wait for the long, because the long would provide me a better a reward to risk opportunity. So as a result, I'll just wait for that turn in price. So and like I suppose was yesterday, that was a good example yesterday that the risk reward was actually poor on the first trade, because I was trying to trend trade it. But like I said, I quickly got out for a scratch, and traded the long side, just because I had a thesis, but I needed confirmation on what's going to support these price level as part of my thesis. So anyways, so that level, let's see, let me try to find a good example here. Actually, we can just stick with the 4 hour chart. It's probably as good. As far as levels is concerned, I am looking for a large range bar, right? So from the daily, I go down to the next lower time frame, which I normally use 4 hours, and I'm looking for for large bars, right? So for instance, let's see, what's a good example, like for instance, even in this level, right? So yesterday it bounced at 54, right? So if you look at this, let's see, let me let me just so I'm looking at this bar right here, so if you just look at the chart, it says, okay, so at one point it's $52.12, and it rallied all the way to 54.54, right before it reverses, right? So this is the concept of supply and demand, and so because of this rally, now suddenly you find yourself, price going back, and we'll try to revisit that area. So if you watch this level right here, from $52 to 54, that's a $2 move, and so you could expect people would remember this price level. So I don't know about you, but I tend to remember the price that, especially when you profit, and when you have a big profit or big loss, you tend to remember that price, that exact price. Like, well, I was able to profit when I got in at X. So when the price goes back to X, you try to trade it again just to see if you can profit from it again. So it's no different, from institution. So they know that price can potentially turn there, so they'll start covering ahead of it. Um, Same goes, that's for a long. Same goes for a short. So if you look at this price right here, it at some point, this thing came all the way. Well, actually, this one right here, so you see it came all the way down. So when the prices goes up back to that level, you should expect somebody is going to sell there. It's that's why patterns emerges, right? Like you'll have a double top, a triple top. That's why those things are possible, just because there's a reason why the price moved away and far away from that level and then comes back up. So when it comes back up, that's kind of the retracement that I'm after, and the risk would be smaller, right? Because I mean, if you're a breakout trader, then what you're really doing is putting on more risk, and sometimes it doesn't really put out a very good reward. So that's why I always talk about my risk reward, risk reward, risk reward. I think I'm gonna live and die by that saying. You have to have the reward present before you take the risk. So that's normally, I mean, in a nutshell, that's what I really do. I just look for opportunity for entry, right? So now, right now we're in the 4 hours, and these candles are large, they're like 40, 50 cents a piece, right? So and if you've seen all my trades, I'm only putting 5 ticks, 10 ticks worth of risk. So it's obvious that even though I found opportunity here, that it's probably not smart for me to enter right here, just because this bar, for instance, you have a range of 52.60 and a low of 52.20. So this is 40 cents wide, so if I trade above here, there's a good chance that this thing might go all the way down, but at that point I'm already stopped out, way beyond stopped out. So the next level is, I normally would mark this level right here, and I'd break it down, right? So between 52.59 and then 52.40, let's break it down and see if there's something in the 30 minutes, or for instance, or 1 hour. Doesn't matter. You just keep breaking it down until you find the opportunity. And actually, yesterday's trade was actually, I'm pretty sure I found it on 30 minutes. So I was here. Where'd it go? Let's see here. Let me go find it again. Okay, so I think this is a 30-minute chart here. Keep getting text. Sorry about that. I was paying attention to this level, right? So as you can see, this huge bar in a 30-minute chart, 98 cents. This one particular one is 98 cents. So let's see if you go back to for my trade yesterday. So at this point, I'm focused on this gray area right here, right? So I made a couple of levels. I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna look at this level right here, and I think if you break it down to even more, there's other levels right here. So but I'm more really interested in this rally right here, because it really originated at 52. What is that? The low of this one is 52.11. So you have buyers right here, because otherwise this thing would not spike up at this amount, right? And then suddenly it just consolidated here, and then you have another pop, and then it just never came back to that level, right? So imagine if you're the buyer of this area, then you should expect someone's going to try to buy it here again at this level. So all I'm really doing is I'm trying to break it down in such a way that it can meet my risk parameter. So my risk parameter is no more than 20 ticks. So that way I can have a trading range to where I can trade and put on that risk. So, and then being a downtrend yesterday, my risk parameter even got tightened up, just because I'm counter trade. I'm counter trading. Blah, I can't even talk right. So I'm countering the trade. So I'm even tightening my stop, to 5 ticks instead of my normal 10. Just because when I'm countering the trade, I tend to put into a smaller, a tighter stop, just because in case I'm wrong, I want to be wrong by a little bit, not by a whole lot. So that way I can keep trying, because like I said, I've been doing this for a while, and experience taught me to do just that. So anyway, so when I marked those, that's what you saw. That's what you saw from yesterday's trading, is that I was able to identify those levels, and then at that point, intraday, right? Intraday, I'm just after that I'm just reading the tape. That's where I think I preached about reading the tape, reading the tape, reading the tape, right? So oh, lost the other ticker stream, but anyhow, I preached about this, reading the tape, and there's where the reading the tape skill comes in. Is because um, I'm simply just trying to figure out order flow. Is what I'm essentially it's what I'm doing. So, anyways, sorry about this. It's 30 minutes. Just trying to explain my trade setup. So hopefully that makes sense. Just a quick recap of what I'm doing. So really, I do a top-down analysis, which is starting from the daily, then I break it down to 4 hours, then 3 hours. I mean, 4 hours, 1 hour, 30 minutes, 20 minutes, 10 minutes, until I can reduce the risk amount that I have. And you see me. I mean, you see my you saw me right here. I mean, I'm down to 1 minute, because at 1 minute, I can actually kind of so I can refine my entry and figure out the my actual trade without getting stopped out. So one thing is to enter, and the other one is where do you go in to not get stopped out so often. And with a 5 tick stop, you're gonna get stopped out more often, but I'm okay with that. I can live with that. But anyways, so really, that's my trade setup. That's my bread and butter. I mean, you see me do this day in, day out, and it's now a process for me that I do on a normal basis. So anyways, hopefully that answered. Oh yeah, your other question is about this right here, the ticker stream. So basically, yeah, this is just a time and sale, and I have a custom size filter where I have it set to 100, right? So my minimum that I want to print on this one is 100. So and that really, I'm trying to identify the institution who's putting out, if there's any support to my thesis. So when it gets to a certain price, I want to know if an institution is thinking of the same thing. So I'm trying to catch where the institutions are buying and selling. So if I see the tape, or if I see the ticker stream putting out sales like the large sales, like huge amount of contract, then I know my thesis is correct. So it's just a matter of trying to identify where my risk reward is, and then I trade it, and pretty much I wash, rinse, repeat. I just do the same thing over and over. Anyhow, so hopefully that answered all your questions. You can certainly ask away. I mean, I have the channel, you know, all the conversation to be open, so you can ask all the questions you want. And certainly, if I have time, I'll make video, something like this that is educational. Or at least, I'm still a student of the market. Don't get me wrong. It teaches me, believe it or not, it changes almost, on a weekly basis. So, your job is to identify where the elephant, in the room is, and how they're playing it. So anyways, that's it. If you have any other questions, just like I said, feel free to stop by, ask away. Until then, y'all have a good weekend. Happy trading. Hopefully you guys did well today, and I certainly appreciate you clicking that like button. It does help promote the channel. Notice my subscriber base is growing pretty good. I think I'm up to 271 right now. So certainly I'm attracting other traders who's wanting to learn. So anyhow, that's it. That's it for me today. Didn't get to trade today because, like I said, I was actually in the clinic, trying to get prescription just because my lungs feels like it's going to collapse on me. So, all right, y'all. Take care. Happy trading. I'll see you on the next video. Take care.